But look at how cute this is. Thank you for being here for my very first tutorial of many to come. Today we are going to crochet Rigby from Regular Show. Here are the materials you will need, and without further ado, let's get started. We'll begin by crocheting Rigby's body. For round 1, we'll make a magic ring with 8 single crochets. Once you finish all 8 stitches, pull the tail tight to close the ring. In round 2, we're going to make 8 increases. By the end, we should have a total of 16 single crochets. For round 3, we'll do 2 increases followed by 2 single crochets. Repeat 4 times. In total, we'll have 24 single crochets. Here I'll place a stitch marker. Honestly, I usually use the yarn tail as my marker, because I already have some practice, but if you're just starting out, I recommend using stitch markers. You can find them in any craft store, or even where they sell buttons. Place it on the first stitch of each round so you don't lose track. For round 4, we'll do 1 single crochet, 2 increases, and 4 single crochets, then 2 increases 3 times, leaving 3 single crochets remaining at the end. This means we'll have a total of 32 single crochets. For round 5, we'll do 2 single crochets, 2 increases, 6 single crochets, and 2 increases 3 times, leaving 4 single crochets remaining at the end. We should have 40 single crochets in total. Now we're starting an interesting part of our pattern because we'll be doing color changes in every round. We'll start with 15 single crochets in brown, then switch to cream or beige for 8 single crochets, and switch back to brown for 17 single crochets. We'll repeat these color changes for 11 rounds. So here, I'll crochet my first 15 single crochets in brown. If you already know a technique for changing colors easily, go ahead and use it. But I like to do it this way. I cut the yarn, insert the hook into the 2 loops of the stitch, pull the new color through those 2 loops, and it's ready. Before continuing, I like to make 2 small knots, and then I proceed with the pattern, which is 8 single crochets in beige. Here again, I'll make it a bit more complicated because that's just how I do it. I don't use the easy color change method everyone knows, but I feel it gives a neater finish, and the fabric doesn't tilt as much. It has worked for me. You can try it, but it will take a little more time than usual. After crocheting the corresponding single crochets in beige, we finish the round in brown. Remember, we'll repeat this process for 11 more rounds to reach round 16. This is how it should look after 11 rounds of color changes. This is Rigby's little belly. And this is how it looks from the inside. From round 17 to 24, we'll crochet 40 single crochets in each round. That means 8 rounds simply in brown. This is how it should look after the 8 rounds in brown. Our piece is starting to look a bit taller. Now we'll continue. For Rigby's legs, we'll start with 5 chain stitches in the same color as the body. Now we need to crochet 3 single crochets, then 3 single crochets in 1 stitch, 2 single crochets, and at the end make an increase. In total, we'll have 10 single crochets. As you know, I love making things more complicated, so I'm not going to crochet in the top loop as usually done. I'll flip my chains down, with the front of the piece facing down, and I'll work into the back loop. In that back loop, I'll crochet the pattern I just gave. Start with 1 single crochet, then another single crochet, then another single crochet. And when you reach the last loop, whenever you crochet in the back loop like I do, it will be a bit hidden. Don't get confused and don't crochet into the 2 loops marked in red. The correct loop to work your last stitch is inside, so we'll need a little technique and some effort to crochet the next 3 single crochets into that loop. Now we'll go to the other side of the piece and continue the pattern, which is 2 single crochets. Here's one. Here's the second. And at the end, we make an increase. We've reached round 3, where we'll do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeated 5 times. By the end, we should have 15 single crochets. This is how our pattern looks in round 2. Now, in round 3, we'll make 15 single crochets in the back loop only, BLO. Blow means we only crochet into the back loop, see here. I'm showing you clearly how to grab just the back loop, not the top loop, not both loops, only the back loop. You'll continue this for 15 single crochets. This is how our back loop only technique looks. You'll notice the piece doesn't grow wider. It starts to grow upward instead. In round 4, we'll crochet 15 single crochets, this time grabbing both loops as usual. Now we start round 5. Begin with 2 single crochets, then 2 decreases, then a triple decrease. By this I mean we take 3 single crochets and close them together as 1 stitch, then 2 more decreases, and finish with 2 single crochets. In total, we should have 9 single crochets. Here I'm going to make my first single crochet, then the second, and once those 2 1 stitches are made, we proceed with the decreases. The next 2 decreases will be invisible decreases, so we only need to grab the front loop. I'll show you. Here I'm grabbing my first front loop, and here I'm grabbing the second front loop. Then I pull the yarn through and close it like a normal single crochet. I do the same for the next decrease. Here I'm grabbing my first front loop, and here I'm grabbing the second front loop. Then I pull the yarn through and close it like a normal single crochet. Now we'll do a triple decrease, which means we'll close 3 single crochets into 1 stitch. Here I recommend not using just the front loop, because if you close the 3 single crochets into 1, small holes will appear, and later, if you try to insert a wire, it could slip out through those holes. What we do is, insert the hook into the first stitch to pull up the yarn. Insert the hook into the second stitch and pull the yarn through again. Insert the hook into the third stitch and pull the yarn through again. Once you have 4 loops on your hook, grab the yarn and close them as a normal single crochet. And that's it! This is how you close 3 single crochets into 1. Now we proceed to finish our pattern. 2 more decreases, then 2 single crochets at the end. In round 6, We'll do 2 single crochets, 3 decreases, and 1 single crochet, giving a total of 6 single crochets at the end of the round. Here we finished the foot. We still need to crochet the rest of the leg. But I'll tell you, since I love making things more complicated, I'm going to use a galvanized wire skeleton and shape it like this. The upper part will go inside the body. The lower part will go into the feet. We'll lightly stuff the piece after placing the wire. Then continue with round 7, crocheting 6 single crochets, and continue this way for 4 rounds, until we reach round 10. Now we have our first little leg. Remember, we need to make another one. Next, we'll insert the galvanized wire into the body. You can place it wherever you like, but I prefer 2 rounds from the magic ring. It's a perfect distance for placing both legs. While you do this, here's a time lapse of me complicating my life. I'll also use this time to lightly stuff my amigurumi. This is how my galvanized wire frame looks. I've already started crocheting the other leg. Before doing the 4 rounds of 6 single crochets, I'll place my second leg, stuff it lightly, and then continue with the remaining 4 rounds so we can sew the legs to the body. Again, this requires a lot of patience. It's uncomfortable, but it adds a lot to our amigurumi. This is how our 2 legs look sewn onto the body. Now we start with the arms. For round 1, make a magic ring with 6 single crochets. In round 2, do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeated 3 times. By the end, we should have 9 single crochets. In round 3, do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeated 3 times, giving a total of 6 single crochets. From round 4 to 16, crochet 6 single crochets per round, a total of 13 rounds. Now we'll place the eyes before finishing the top and attaching the arms. Here's a guide showing where I place them if you're using safety eyes. Once the eyes are attached, we'll crochet around them with 1 round of dark brown yarn. Remember, Rigby is a raccoon, so the eyes should look bigger and outlined. Do the same for the other eye. Now I'll use the galvanized wire again to give stability to the arms, so you can position them however you like. Rigby waving, or arms down like I prefer. I'll attach the arm at this point. Here's another time-lapse of me complicating my life using galvanized wire. This is how our arms look once sewn or glued. I like to use hot glue and hide the extra yarn. Next, we'll crochet Rigby's snout. Start with 2 chains. Skip 1 chain, and in the first chain we made, we'll do an increase. Now I'm going to make a chain stitch for height and crochet 2 increases. By the end, we should have 4 single crochets. In round 3, we'll make 1 chain for height, 1 increase, 2 single crochets, and at the end another increase. In total, we'll have 6 single crochets. This is all we'll do for Rigby's little snout. Now we'll crochet one round around the snout to tidy up the edges. I'll make one chain and then crochet 2 single crochets on the first side. On the tip, I'll crochet 1 single crochet, 1 chain, and 1 single crochet in the same stitch. On the other side, 3 single crochets. This is how I'll place the snout. We only need to crochet the same pattern in cream color. Once you have both parts of the snout, we'll sew them by hand. Here's how. Insert the needle from the front. Pull it out through the back of the next stitch. Do this on the opposite side of where the yarn comes out. Then insert the needle in the stitch where the yarn came out and pull it through the next single crochet. Repeat on the top, then bottom, top, bottom, until all stitches around the snout are done. Remember to pull the yarn gently to close what you're sewing. This is how Rigby's snout looks. You can sew it, but I like to glue it with hot glue. Now it's time to crochet the nose. This pattern is super simple. I'm using a thinner yarn with a smaller hook. Simply make a magic ring with 4 single crochets and close it with a slip stitch in the next single crochet. Now let's crochet Rigby's tail. In round 1, start with a magic ring of 6 single crochets. In round 2, do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeated 3 times. At the end, we should have 9 single crochets. Pay attention. From round 3 to round 24, we'll crochet 9 single crochets per round, which means 22 rounds left. But we'll do color changes in the following order. Round 3, light brown, same as Rigby's body. Round 4, dark brown, same color used to outline Rigby's eyes. Here's the color order. We'll do 3 rounds of light brown, then 1 round of dark brown, and repeat this 5 times. This is how Rigby's tail looks. You can place it wherever you like, not too high or too low. We'll make a slight curve inward and point the tip outward. Now Rigby's tail is attached, either glued or sewn. Next, we'll do the hair, which I think is the most difficult part of the pattern. The hair consists of several parts from 3 different patterns. Pattern A, Pattern B, Pattern C. We'll crochet Pattern B and C twice. At the end of each piece, cut the yarn, except for the last piece of Pattern C, which we will leave uncut to join all the others. Here we have all our pieces, from Pattern A, 2 from Pattern B, 2 from Pattern C. We won't cut the yarn on the last Pattern C. Now we'll start joining the hair. Crochet 3 single crochets on the Pattern C piece. Then 4 single crochets on the Pattern B piece. Then 4 single crochets on the Pattern A piece. Then 4 single crochets on the other Pattern B piece. Finally, 7 single crochets on the last Pattern C piece. We'll need to skip 2 stitches on the next piece, and we'll start crocheting from the 3rd single crochet. So we crochet 4 single crochets in the pattern B piece. Since we're going to skip to the next piece, we'll skip 2 single crochets like we did before. Start from the 3rd stitch and crochet 4 single crochets in this piece, which is pattern A. Again, before starting the next piece, skip 2 single crochets and crochet 4 single crochets in pattern B. Skip 2 more single crochets and finish with 4 single crochets in pattern C. At the end, we should have 38 single crochets. If you count and it's not 38, you made a mistake. This is how the beginning of Rigby's hair looks. We'll now attach it to Rigby's body. We're about to do one of the trickiest parts, which is joining the hair to the head. Grab your stitch markers. Leave 19 single crochets free at the front. Try to make these exactly 19 stitches. The markers will help you not lose track of the start and end of these 19 stitches. Here I've already marked my 19 stitches, and I'll continue crocheting the hair to begin joining it to the head. In round 25, I'll crochet 19 single crochets, which are the 19 stitches we're leaving unworked on the head. After crocheting these 19 single crochets in the hair, I'll do 1 single crochet and 1 decrease, 7 times. At the end, we should have 33 single crochets, including the 19 we just crocheted in the hair. This is how it should look. Now we'll join the hair completely and crochet 1 single crochet and 1 decrease, 11 times. Here I'm starting with my first stitch in the hair, and we'll continue with the rest of the pattern. Next, we'll sew the large gap here, closing the head with Rigby's hair, and also closing the spaces between the hair pieces. It will look like this. You might think, oh, it looks like the forehead is huge, but don't worry. We'll fold this forward and glue it down with hot glue. The reason we crocheted 8 extra rounds on the body is to give the effect that the hair hangs over the forehead. Remember, details are very important. We'll continue closing Rigby's head. In round 27, crochet 1 single crochet and 1 decrease, 6 times. At the end, there will be 4 single crochets left, which we'll crochet without any problem. In total, we'll have 16 single crochets. Here I've finished round 27, and this is how it looks. We've reached the last round of Rigby. We'll do 8 decreases. Remember not to overstuff, because it can open the stitches and make the amigurumi look messy. Once the 8 decreases are done, cut the yarn and proceed to close Rigby's head. I do it like this. 1 stitch inside. 1 outside, 1 inside, 1 outside, until all leftover stitches are closed. At the end, I tighten and make a knot to secure it. I'll weave in the yarn and cut it. This is how Rigby's head looks. Now we move on to the ears. We'll crochet just 2 rounds. In round 1, make a magic ring with 8 single crochets. In round 2, do a triple increase, single crochets, another triple increase, single crochets again. At the end, we should have 12 single crochets. Here I'm crocheting where single crochet, another single crochet, then the 3rd single crochet in the same stitch. This is how Rigby's ears look. We'll need to make 2. And I'll place them behind the pattern C hair piece. I'll attach them like this, using hot glue. Here. I'm just adding a small detail with a marker, like an elongated Z. I decided to make it with a slightly darker marker, and this is how it looks. And this is how our Rigby looks. I like to carefully pass it over a candle flame or stove burner to get rid of all those little stray fibers. Remember, you should only do this if it's acrylic yarn. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please subscribe and like this video. Here are my social media links if you want to follow me and stay updated on my upcoming tutorials. Thank you so much again for watching. Remember, here at Lana Club, I can crochet anything. See you in the next tutorial. Bye.